Hey everyone, ever think about how connected we all are? Think about the coffee you drink, maybe from Colombia, or the phone in your pocket, assembled with parts from Asia. That's global trade. Countries buying and selling goods and services. It's like a giant world market, the world's big bazaar. Let's start with a country's GDP, or gross domestic product. Think of it as a pie that represents the total value of everything a country produces in a year. A bigger pie usually means a wealthier country. Now, how does this relate to trade? They can also afford to buy more from others. Conversely, a country with a smaller GDP might trade less. Now let's talk about jobs, or more specifically, unemployment. When unemployment is high in a country, it means people are out of work, and that can impact trade in a couple of ways. Firstly, fewer people working means less production, potentially shrinking the pie we talked about earlier, and leaving less available for trade. Secondly, unemployed people have less income, meaning they buy less, including goods from other countries. This can lead to a decrease in demand for imports, impacting global trade flows. It's like a domino effect. High unemployment in one country can ripple through the global trade system. Poverty is another significant factor influencing global trade. Countries with high poverty levels often grapple with lower education levels, limited access to healthcare, and fewer opportunities for its citizens. This can trap them in a cycle of producing and exporting low-value goods while struggling to afford vital imports. This can hinder their ability to diversify their economies and participate fully in global trade. Imagine a village where everyone only knows how to weave baskets. While those baskets might have some value, the village remains limited in its trade options and vulnerable to price fluctuations in the basket market. Section 5. Imports and exports, the lifeblood of global trade. Let's talk about the heart of global trade, imports and exports. Simply put, imports are goods and services a country buys from other countries. Think of it as welcoming new products into your home. Exports are goods and services a country sells to other countries, like sharing your homemade cookies with the neighbors. These two are like two sides of the same coin, and the balance between them can tell us a lot about a country's economy and its role in global trade. Some countries are export powerhouses, sending their goods all over the world, while others rely heavily on imports to meet their needs. Think of it like a bustling marketplace, with countries setting up shop, showcasing their unique products, and eagerly trading with each other. Section 6. Natural resources, the groundwork of trade. Let's move on to natural resources, the gifts a country has thanks to Mother Nature, things like oil, minerals, fertile land, or even favorable climates. These resources can be major players in global trade. Countries abundant in certain resources often have a comparative advantage, a fancy way of saying they can produce those resources more efficiently than other countries. This leads them to trade these resources for goods and services they might not be able to produce as well themselves. It's like having a knack for growing the juiciest apples in town. You trade those apples for, say, bread from a baker who specializes in that. It's a win-win. Section 7. Comparative advantage, playing to your strengths. This brings us to the idea of comparative advantage, a key principle in global trade. It's all about countries focusing on producing and exporting what they're best at, even if they can produce other goods and services. Let's say a country is great at making both cars and computers, but it makes cars more efficiently. This country has a comparative advantage in car manufacturing. It makes sense for them to focus on making and exporting cars and import computers from a country that might be even better at making those. Think of it like this. Even if you're a great cook and a great gardener, you might choose to focus on gardening if that's what you excel at, and trade some of your produce for a delicious meal cooked by a friend. Section 8. Conclusion. A tapestry of interwoven threads. So there you have it. From a country's economic output to its workforce, poverty levels, what it buys and sells, its natural resources, and even its unique strengths, these economic factors all intertwine to shape the fascinating world of global trade. It's like a giant tapestry, with each thread representing an economic factor. When woven together, they create the complex and ever-evolving picture of global commerce. Understanding these factors helps us appreciate the interconnectedness of our world, the importance of economic policies, and how they influence our daily lives. After all, we all play a role in the world's big bazaar.